Start with a quiet time. Let's close our eyes, relax our bodies, let our thoughts come to this present moment and to this place. Think in your mind that nothing exists out of this room or this moment for you at this time. Think of this circle of light getting brighter and brighter and reaching upward in consciousness, in frequency, to those higher realms of divine love and light. And as we reach upward, the teachers on the realms of love and light are reaching down to make contact with us. And we feel their presence. We also know that our teachers and guides are here, and many others who are sitting in on this session just as we are, to learn and to grow. Let us send divine love ahead into this contact. And remember that each one here is as much a part of the channel as that one as the one who speaks. Thank you, Father. This is our Wednesday night channeling. Go get you a drink of water. And for those who are new, I usually write a little bit, and it's channeled also. This is Wednesday night channeling number 215, May the 20th. Is this the 20th? 1992. Planet Earth. Yes. And the title is called Love Expressed. To express is to press out or to give outward. When you have love within you, you can let it flow outward. To open your heart to receive love is one of the doors. To give love is another door of your inner being. You are the doorkeeper of yourself, both inward and outward. You choose to be whatever, whether from the inner levels of memory patterns forgotten, the deep inner spiritual self, or the outward physical. All these and many others are doors to open or leave closed to your conscious awareness. As you learn to go within to the higher spiritual self of your being, you revel in the glorious beauty and joy that has lain dormant throughout your journey in the lower levels. As you contemplate this wondrous state of consciousness, your soul soars to the heights of that which you can reach. If you return again and again in the quietness of your soul, the beauty and joy is outwardly expressed in your countenance, shining outward for all to see who have eyes to see. Divine love is a conveyor that brings this inner joy and beauty to the surface expressed outward. My little ones, it is a great joy to enter the circle of your light and be in your midst. It is love expressed outward, to feel the vibrations of your divine love that pours forth into your circle and moves outward to the whole universe. I tell you, it is our pleasure to come to you in these groups, and there are many all over the planet and many other planets, many other dimensions. Groups who have one thing in mind, is to learn and to grow and to move higher in consciousness and to expand their soul awareness. I tell you, this is the only thing in life that gives you the motivation to be the divine being that you are. As you find yourself on this planet, on this plane, you find many conflicting things going on in your life and around you. But I tell you, my dear ones, within you is that still small place that is quiet and calm with beauty and joy of the Father's presence. It dwells within you consistently, constantly, and is always vibrating the Father's love to you and through you if you are open and allow it to flow through. There's nothing greater in this universe than divine love, and it is a great joy to know that you can be a channel for God's love to flow through. It is a great joy and to feel His presence in His divine love. I tell you, as you come together in one accord, you are in the presence of God, for you are always in His presence, for He is the life force that you are. He is everywhere present in all of life, in the lower, in the higher, in the middle, as you think of time and space. In true reality, my dear ones, we are all equal in the sight of God. No matter what part we're playing on this role you call the planet Earth or any other dimension, you are equally loved unconditionally by your Creator, with freedom to express your life as you want, without any condemnation from the Father. When you realize this, my dear ones, then you can understand that the only one who judges you is you yourself. If anyone else around you judges you, that is their problem. This is one thing that we have talked to you about many times, to understand that God only loves you, no matter what your past has been, no matter what you're doing now, or your plans for your tomorrow. God loves you unconditionally and always will, for He created you in His image and likeness. He is your Father, your real Father. for he gave you life, and he breathed the life into you, and every breath that you take, he breathes with you. Everything that you see, he sees with you. Everything that you hear, he hears with you. This may sound a little strange, but I tell you, you and God are one. There is no separation, and you and all of God's creation are one. Hans, may I ask you to turn the air conditioner a little warmer? It seems to be a little chilly.
Yes, sir.
As you learn to realize that life is one, there is no you or I, there is no sin, there is no good or evil, time or space. The duality concept is an illusion, and I tell you it is true. Only you are playing this game with yourself, and only you can discontinue the game and move out of this, out from under this law you call karma. For karma is a man-made law. It was made with divine intention to get us out of a tight spot, you might say, to give us a path to move forward on when we seem to not have a path. It gave us understanding where we had no understanding. But there comes a time, my dear ones, when it is time to move on. There comes a place in consciousness when you leave that big ball, steel ball and chain behind you called karma. There comes a time to only love. And as you learn to love in your every thought, word, and deed, as you do everything as unto God, then are you turning loose of that which you call karma. You are getting out from under this heavy load that you have carried around for a long, long time. Misunderstanding. Now you have come to a place where it is possible for you to hear the truth. The vibrations on this planet are higher in this new age than they ever have been before. They are increasing every day in the planet and everything on it. And as you move with the flow of this increase of divine love, then can you see more clearly. Then can you hear the truth. Then can you know who you truly are. Yes, some of you say, I am God. I am divine. Let me be a little rude and ask you, are you living what you say? When you say this, continue to say it to impress your subconscious and your conscious minds to move higher in toward that full realization of your divinity. Also, look at your life and see, are you living it? When you fall short, do not condemn yourself or feel guilty. This is very destructive and serves no purpose, but works against you. That mark your so-called mistakes, or what we call going against the grain of life, and know that you have fallen short or missed the mark, and move on without any thought of judgment or guilt or self-condemnation. These things are in your thoughts too much, my dear ones. You need not have them. It is not necessary. It is necessary to keep score, you might say, and to know where you are, and to understand when you have missed the mark, and know that you are learning to do better. But know this, my dear ones, as you have been taught, everyone is doing the best they can at the moment, and this includes you, with their past conditioning, with the understanding of life, not intellectually, not what you have read in a book or heard in a class like this, but what you can live. When you can live the life divine, then you own it, then it is yours. Be not concerned that you are already not perfect, for you are here to learn and to grow, and after all, this is just a play on a stage. You and everyone on this planet, except a very few who are masters, are here for one thing only, and that is to move higher in consciousness, to gain more spiritual understanding, and to realize your divinity. Soul's growth is your prime motive for being in this physical shell. You know this intellectually. As you practice more and more, and remember to send love, especially to yourself. Divine love, when it flows through you, automatically helps you. But also remember to send yourself love often. And when you catch yourself thinking a negative thought, remember to send God's love unto that thought, to cancel it out, so that it does not add to your burden of what you call karma. God's love is all-powerful and all-wise, and it knows what to do and how to do it. Use it often, my dear ones. It is a tool that can reshape your consciousness into a beautiful, glorious, radiant being of light. And I tell you, you are on your way. You who come to these sessions, you who think often of the Father and of the spiritual life, and read the books that talk about this, you are moving in the right direction, in the direction that will get you what you truly want. So many on your plane feel they want this thing or that thing. They feel that if they could just have this individual to love them, or anyone to love them, then they would be happy. Happiness in your vocabulary is an elusive word, and it is not lasting, my dear ones. But joy and peace, that is divine and love that is divine is eternal. And as you learn to experience these eternal parts of God, these eternal attributes of God, then do you know the Father a little bit more as you experience the Father's touch, His loving touch, as you feel the joy and the love and peace in your heart. Then do you know Him a little bit more as you remember to stop through the busy time of your day or at any time and go within and have that quiet time with the Father who is at the center of your being. No matter whether you can still your mind, it doesn't matter. If your motive is to sit still and have this communion, something is happening, my dear ones, and realize this. When you sit down to have a talk with God, have a talk with God. It matters not what you talk about. If you have a problem, ask for guidance, ask for enlightenment. If you feel alone, ask for His love. All these things are within you. You will not find them in the outer world that is lasting. You may temporarily find relief from this or that, and so many have turned to drugs to find this temporary relief, to find that they are trapped in a vicious circle. Know within the depths of your being lies the answer to all. Divine love is the answer. God's love is the solution to all problems, so-called. God's love is the healing power to heal any ill. God's love can be your constant companion and give you the fulfillment that you desire. No matter what it takes to find this inner joy, beauty, and peace in the presence of God, go for it. For it is what everyone is looking for, whether they know it consciously or not. When you see the famous and rich individuals on your planet who are doing different things, having so much wealth and power, you think maybe it would be nice to have this. I tell you, my dear ones, some of these are lost in that material world for a time, and until they can release this and give power and value to the inner dimensions of life, they will continue to be dissatisfied, disillusioned, and lack peace and real love. You do not have to be rich or famous to have these things, to lack this peace and real love. For most on your planet know not the divine touch of God. You who have come a little ways on the path that leads inward, have had glimpses and moments of knowing the truth, and have held his hand for a little while, and have felt his touch upon your shoulders, and felt his embrace and his love. Treasure these moments and remember them, and as you remember them, bring them back to your awareness and be fulfilled. Let the memory of these moments become a reality in your present moment. As Donald has said, assume the role of that which you would be. This is the answer, my dear ones, to go within, to be the joyful, beautiful, loving being that you are created and that you truly are already, but know it not, or have not fully realized your divinity. You may think this is a basic class, but it is of the highest frequency, my dear ones. It is the answer. It is that which you seek, and which everyone seeks in the whole of life. Oneness with themselves and oneness with God. For that you and God are one, and you are one with all of the expressions of God, which is everything that exists. As your planet and the individuals on your planet have this realization, the majority, then will you be far upon your way to bringing the kingdom of heaven on earth. This is not an impossible thing. As your planet appears now, it seems so. But I tell you, my dear ones, judge not by appearances, but judge righteous judgment. For within every individual expression of God is God himself. And there will come that place in consciousness where each one will have this realization when they have had enough experiences, and grown tired of the disillusionment and the emptiness of the outer things that give them no lasting peace or joy, and they feel empty. Then will they turn and look for better answers. And if they learn to turn within, they will find what they seek. Have good thoughts about your planet, even though it seems to be in a state of disarray, and even your neighborhoods, your states, and your cities are having cleansing. And this, my dear ones, is what it truly is, as you have been told. The uprising in your cities of negative things is just a cleansing process. And it has to be pressed out. It has to be gotten out of the individuals. They have cornered themselves in a trap and know no other way out. But they will find their way, and they will find it when they find the way in. Let us stop at this time and give you opportunity to express your thoughts or ask questions as you will. Feel free, my dear ones. Do not stand in awe of me, though I came to set the pattern for you to go by. I am as the least among you. Believe this, for it is true. We are all equal in the sight of God. I am as you are. Maybe I am a little higher in frequency and have learned a few more things than you have in your present state of consciousness, but I am no higher in the sight of God than you. Feel free to ask questions or make comments.
Thank you. Would you be kind enough to tell us a little bit more about what you mentioned earlier about living our divinity? We tell ourselves that we are divine, that we are God, and we should learn to live this.
Yes. You are learning to do this. It is a matter of continued practice. You see, the world grabs your attention, and this is where you miss the mark, is you allow the outer things to grab all of your attention. God does not ask you to give much. Your churches have asked you to give 10%, and they're talking about money, your income. This is tithing, but tithing has nothing to do with money. It has to do with the time that you spend working with yourself to raise your consciousness and to live the life by learning to correct your thoughts from negative to positive, from fear to love and peace. And as you do this, then you are learning to live the life. This does not come easy, my dear ones. For many lifetimes, you have been ingrained with the negativity around you and brainwashed, you might say, into believing. And even though you may consciously or intellectually, I should say, know better with your conscious mind, until you can, with your whole being, live the life moment by moment, you still are falling short of the mark. This is not to judge you. This is to point out to you that maybe you will remember a little more often to say, "Good morning, God, I love you." And all through the day, say, "God be with me. God be with me. God is with me. Divine love is with me." When you have those times that your mind is not filled with the duties and the things that you're doing, fill those empty spots with something like this. Let it be a chant that goes on in your mind. God is love. God is good. God is kind. I love God, and God loves me. Many, many things can go through your mind that can raise your vibrations and can raise your consciousness. This is living the life. This is being the divine self that you already are and expressing it outward. Does this help your understanding, my dear one?
Yes, thank you.
Are there other thoughts or comments that you would make?
I have a question about the individuals that are leaving the physical at this time. With the cleansing that's taking place, those that are leaving the physical, in frustration and anger, will they be allowed to come back into the physical during this time of cleansing?
Everyone is an individual expression of the Creator, and all are allowed everything possible to help them to raise their consciousness. You see, it is not someone who allows them, it is they themselves that allow them according to their level of consciousness, according to their understanding. It is like giving a 2-year-old a pen and paper and asking them to multiply. You see, everyone is at a different place in their growth, and they have to work from where they are. The thing that is right in front of them, the next step. And the lords of karma, these very high spiritual beings, know where each individual is, and they help to guide them into their next step, whether it is what you expressed or something else that they need. Does this answer your question?
Yes, and raises another one. Then the 4 to 5 times of souls that are discarnate, that are in physical form, are discarnate by choice and not necessarily just waiting for a physical vehicle to enter.
Some of them are waiting for a vehicle to enter, but you see, the higher beings that are helping them to be patient and enter at the time that is for their best good and all around them. And a saying that you have, for the best good of all concerned, is a good saying. And each of you are one with all, but each of you have a special niche that no one else can fill. And as you move upward in consciousness, you are learning and growing. And so the 4 to 5 times as many who are discarnate, who are not in the physical, are there to learn things on other dimensions, to rest from the physical, and to come back when they have the best opportunity to learn and grow in the physical. Does this answer your question?
Yes, thank you very
Yes.
much.
God bless you. Are there other thoughts or questions this evening? Feel free to take this opportunity to express that which you would understand.
Then were you saying that a while ago that the riots and the upheaval in the earth itself is a way of ridding the karma?
It is a way of cleansing. When an individual is trapped in a corner, is trapped himself, truly, he sometimes has to fight his way out, for he knows no other way. And this causes your wars. It causes the conflicts in the city. The world wars and the conflicts that are happening in groups around your world are the same. They are a feeling of frustration and unhappiness and dissatisfaction within themselves. It's not what is without that disturbs them, but it is what is within them. And they see it as a reflection on the outer. It is reflected outward in their outer lives, for they have created these conditions. And they are blaming their leaders and many others for their problems. when if they could look within themselves and correct the inner thoughts, feelings, moods, and attitudes, all of these things come under the heading of thought. Thought is the prism, that mind is the channel, and thought is the prism that life force works through to manifest on the physical. So each individual's thought adds to the collective thought of the whole of mankind on your physical planet. And what you see happening is an outward expression of this collective thought. Those who have learned to think a little better are helping to dissolve some of this negativity. But there is much of it because of the misunderstanding of life of the masses. When you learn to send God's love and to be a channel for God's love to flow through, you can alleviate much of this, but it still has to be outworked within each individual. And when large groups feel the same way, they feel that they have to fight to get what they want in an outward way. This is not the solution, but it is all that they know. And so, in a sense, it is a cleansing process, but it does not solve the so-called problems of the world. When individuals find the inner peace, then will the world's problems be solved. And it is with each individual that they must find this. No one else can find it for them. Groups like this and classes that are at this center can point the way and give you guidelines, but you must do the footwork. You must take the torch, you might say, and go with it. And when you learn to go within and find that inner peace, then that is what you express. Love is expressed through you. Does this help your understanding?
The earth itself is going through a tremendous strain. Is this a reflection upon the masses?
Yes. The earth is an entity just as you are an entity, and its time has come to be Christed. Its time has come to be lifted up into a self-illuminating star in the next 2,000 years. And much has been done to the earth to pollute it, much destruction. Only those who inhabit the earth and those who are connected with it on other dimensions, who have been here in the physical, can right this so-called wrong and cleanse themselves. And in cleansing themselves, the planet is also cleansed. It is difficult when you are looking from the surface to see the whole large picture, but this is the truth, and each individual must find it within themselves. But I tell you, my dear ones, each individual will find that peace and joy and divine love that they are made of. It is up to them for the Father has given them the freedom to take as long as they want, to have as many experiences of varied kinds. And this is the way that you learn, is through experience. Does this help clarify your understanding?
Well, I noticed in studying history,
Speak a little louder, please.
I noticed in studying history that about every 2,000 years there happens to be someone sent to us that straightens out the will of man in our
Yes.
government.
And-
Are we about to receive another visit?
And this is, the timing is almost here. And there are those among you who are here to help lead you, but very few are ready to follow. You talk about the second coming. It is an expression. Think of it, or at least consider it in this way. The second coming happens within you, within each individual. And until you can follow the pattern that was given you 2,000 years ago, almost, then you do not have that second coming. The pattern was laid down for you to live by, and that is what is meant by living the life instead of just talking about it. When you can do this, then your second coming is realized. This may sound strange to you and many others, because you are hoping that that one individual will come and solve all your problems and give you the enlightenment with a magic wand or something. I tell you, this is no more true today than it was 2,000 years ago, and not many more will hear the truth than heard it 2,000 years ago. But they will be more, there will be more light and more power at this time, for it is the most opportune time to be in the physical in the history of your planet. And if you can listen to the truth that is given you, the light that comes from the Father, light is a symbol of understanding and wisdom. If you can receive this with divine love, then you can find that inner peace and joy which is the second coming. God bless you for asking.
Thank you. I noticed in the John the Revelator spoke of that in To the Last Era of the Church of the Laodiceans. He said,
Would you speak a little louder, please?
I knock at each one's door, and if he hears me and opens the door and let me in, I will sup with him and he will sup with me.
Yes.
This is in the latter days, and I understand that's what he's really saying.
Yes, and your door is always being knocked at. God is always speaking to you from within you. And if you can be still and take your attention away from the outer and practice doing this, you will hear and you will know. I feel Hans is watching the tape.
Yes.
Yes. Are there other thoughts or questions?
The Apostle Paul in the book of Romans happened to mention that there was a constant war within himself.
Yes. This is symbolic. A lot of your book you call the Bible is symbolic. And as the teacher here at this center, Donald, who I'm speaking through, teaches, the conscious and the subconscious mind, for the most part, is at war within itself, with each other. For the subconscious has not the reason and logic that the conscious mind has, but it has been programmed in a negative way for the most part, for most on this planet. And when the conscious mind decides to move upward in consciousness, the subconscious does not understand, and it causes a conflict between the two. And until that conflict can be resolved through prayer and through meditation and re-education of the subconscious part of your mind, you will still have that war going on within you. And the wars that are going on within the individuals cause the world wars. For if everyone on your planet was truly at peace, they would not take up arms against each other, would they now? The way, my dear ones, is inward. It is now, it always has been, and it always will be. And I tell each one of you that you are moving toward that inward journey, and the point of consciousness will come when you are free of the disillusionment of these lower dimensions. Continue to learn to live the life and to be that bright and shining, beautiful individual expression of God that you are. Are there other questions?
Then the secret of living would be considered as what Shakespeare said, to be true to thy own self above all.
Yes, and thine own self is divine. And when you're true to the God within you, you are being true to the whole of life. For God is the whole of life. Does this make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Thank you.
And you cannot be untrue to anyone else, on the physical or anywhere else, when you're being true to that divine being within you. This is a beautiful time of expressing love outward and being in your midst and being a part of your circle of light. I tell you, my dear ones, I am no farther away from you than a thought, and God is with you always. God bless each and every one of you, and good evening.
Thank you.
Back. Do I have to fill anything in the building?
Thought I heard someone else come in.
Andy left.
Who was it?
Andy.
Oh, Andy left, that's it, yeah.
That was a good one. Good questions.
Yes. Thank you for participating. These guys are afraid to ask sometimes, or they're just bashful, I don't know which.
It's almost like then the coming of World War III will be inevitable because of this is a way that maybe people will get rid of their frustrations and
Maybe World War III is already here.
well, yes.
We don't have to have a world conflict as we've had before. We can, you know, if we continue in the same vein that we're going in, have been going in. And some of these small countries get the atomic energy and they can set it off at any time. The space people that we talked to before in the past have promised that they won't allow the planet to be destroyed, and that's why they're here. It's a safeguard that.
Well, I know and I understand that a lot of the third world countries are not as highly developed in maybe a spiritual way, and when they get a hold of these modern conveniences, they tend to use them as a destructive.
Yeah.
And they will probably try to destroy the Earth. Now, is the universe itself going under a cleansing too, not only just the Earth,
Yes.
but the whole universe as a whole?
That's right. Yes, it spreads outward, and everything has a cycle. It comes in cycles, and some people study these cycles, but it is continuously happening, not just at certain times. But for this planet, our teachers from the other dimensions have told us that this is the golden age, the Aquarian age, where everything is in abundance. And we have more now than we've ever had in our known history. And so this particular time is the planet's time to be lifted up into a self-illuminating star instead of a dark reflecting planet as it has been.
Well, in the book of Revelation, it speaks of the seventh era of the Church of the Laodicean. It says that you are rich and have need of nothing.
That's right.
So it's talking about this little bit of time period right before peace in the universe.
Well, this is a cleansing time right now. It's just begun. See, about 100 years ago or 150 years ago, we had the influence from it when the Industrial Revolution started. And now it's moving, it's accelerating, and it's going to continue to accelerate. And if we can keep up with that movement upward in frequency in our consciousness, then we can go with it and have the experience with the planet. If not, we can go somewhere else for a while, and those who are going in the opposite direction, see, will not be destroyed, because we cannot be destroyed. We're divine, eternal beings. But they will go to another planet, another dimension, where they'll have more opportunities.
Now, in the spiritual realm, are they also experiencing the war within themselves too?
Not in the higher spiritual realm. See, there's a part of us that we call our higher self that is our true guardian, really. And it knows all. It's one with God at all times, where we're here on these lower dimensions and have forgotten who we are in a conscious sense. But we are multi-dimensional beings, and we dwell on all these dimensions right now. And these lower dimensions are the ones who are going through the changes, trying to, as we move upwards, see, we bring up, there'll come a time when the physical is not, lay down the big ball and chain and walk off and leave it. But we haven't learned how to do that. They're still stuck with this old conditioning. And that's why we still remain on this plane.
Thoughts are a physical projection?
Thoughts are an outward projection of the inner self that we have created. we're co-creators with God. And these thoughts can be either constructive or destructive.
Yeah.
And for the most on this plane, they're destructive.
So as is above, so is below.
Right. Everything comes from above down. And the power is at the highest point of consciousness and projected downward in frequency. And so we use it. This is almost the end result, not quite. But the planes of darkness and dimness are the end. But we're a little above that. Some on this plane are, not all. And so we are creating the world conditions with our every thought, word, and deed. And that's not just in this group, but it's everyone on this planet. And that collective thought that he talked about governs what happens on the planet because of man's free will.
It also causes the earthquakes and the volcanic
right.
eruptions. And
Disturbance in the weather. We have the power to control the weather, just as Jesus did when he stopped the wind, walked on the water, all those things.
it's nothing but a thought projection.
That's correct. But your thought has to be pure, and you have to know, not just think you know.
How do you have the pure thoughts?
Practice.
Practice. And you eliminate those unpure thoughts, see. And you see, when I used to say that 90% of the people on this planet is negative 90% of the time. Well, let's say you come to classes like this or something and go somewhere, you go within, and you learn to be positive 30%. That's better than 10%, isn't it? But what you got outweighing you over on that other side, that 70% still negative. And until you get past that 50% mark, your life is still coming out in a negative way.
Yeah, just don't drive on the highways of Arizona.
Yeah.
I have a question. Would you explain the difference between our higher self, our guardian angel, and our personal guide?
Well, I thought when that word came out, is our true guardian, is going to confuse somebody.
I'm easily confused. So.
It should be clarified. Our higher self is our true guardian. I think that's a correct statement. But we do have an entity who is, when we left the Godhead, when we came down to these lower dimensions, who agreed, or for a span of time, as we think of it, agreed to be in charge of us. But there are many other helpers that are working with them. There's someone who is higher in consciousness than we are, who is kind of responsible for us in a sense, and is looking after us and directing all the other entities who are on the other dimensions, helping us, the teachers and guides.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. But there's one entity who has the responsibility, but then sometimes we grow beyond that, see, and so another entity comes in and takes their place. When I first got into the Oasis group back in Oklahoma, my teacher was Hebron, and I learned later on that Hebron was my son in a Chinese incarnation some lifetimes back. And in China, everything, the marriages are arranged when you're small children, see. And Hebron had fallen in love with this other girl that wasn't as rich and powerful as this girl that we'd chosen for him in that family. And he wanted to take her as his first wife. They have first wife and then as many concubines as they could afford. And I didn't allow it, and that's caused karma between us. And so he was my, not that number one teacher, guardian, but he was my guide and helped me physically until I got myself turned around and got into this kind of work. And then he was released, and that took care of the karma between us.
But before you got into this, your life wasn't all that easy.
No, it was opposite. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, huh?
Yeah.
You mean he was actually trying to get even?
No, that's karma. He was settling it.
Debts.
It takes two to tango,
Yeah.
And he had bad feelings about this and carried them into other lifetimes. And it wasn't this self that had so much bad feelings, because I thought that was the right thing. But he carried these bad feelings, and in order to get rid of this, after he got on the other dimension and left that lifetime, he could understand and see the larger picture and was shown the truth. And in order to settle this between us, he agreed to be my guide until I got into this work, and that took care of it. He kind of helped push me into this.
That was his reward for
Well, you might say that. It was,
ill feelings?
yeah, it was a release.
For his ill feelings because of the
Mhm. And
my father and I had kind of that same relationship. But since he's passed on, now I understand he was doing the best he could do at the time, and
that's right.
I forgave him. I sat him down and forgave him for everything.
Hmm. And forgave yourself.
Yeah, for not understanding,
Yeah.
or not being more understanding.
Mhm. In other words, when you forgive, it means to give before. Okay? And you release those negative things, and there's no such thing as time. See, so we're involved with the concept of time. We were asked, what questions did we ask? I think we were asking about the things that we're talking about tonight, the turmoils going on and maybe the end of the world and all that sort of thing. There isn't going to be such thing as the end of the world, but anyway, we were asking it, and in the Bible there's a passage that says, unless the Father foreshorten the time. And that means shorten the time before it happens. In other words, Ella explained, if we can send enough divine love and raise our consciousness, we lift the whole of mankind just that much. And we can put off these cataclysms or lessen them so they won't be so intense.
Or lengthen the time to give us all more an opportunity
That's right.
to see the light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tonight he said that the vibrations are higher now than they ever have been. That's not saying much for us.
Well, that wasn't, I think he corrected himself. He said in the golden age, in this next 2,000 years. I think he said that, but afterwards, if you listen,
Okay.
He
I'll have to
corrected
listen to it
that
on the way home.
and said in the next 2,000 years, the vibration will be higher than it ever has been on the planet.
Yeah, I think he was talking about referring to the millennium.
Yeah, the golden age.
Yeah, in which everyone will be at peace or may have found themselves.
Well, with that, the planet's going to be lifted up. See, and those who can keep their consciousness high enough can go with it. The others will have to incarnate on another planet or somewhere else.
Fall off, huh?
Well,
Get off the earth.
they won't just be there when they graduate from this incarnation. Well, they'll go somewhere else.
Oh, that was meant, though. The Messiah said there'll be some of you who will not see death then. Before
There's
before my
no
second
such
coming.
thing as death, really.
Well, in the physical state.
Yeah.
Some of you will not have to give up your physical body, but it will just
There's,
go on to the next plane and,
yes, there have, Enoch did this in the Bible.
yeah, translate.
But there has been several others, and there's a couple of books that talk about this. Sons of God, have you read that book?
No, I haven't.
It's $4.95 or something like that, a little small blue. It's really an inspiration. I have it in the other room. But everyone should read that. By the way, I found some more books, Tender Witnesses, if anyone wants to get them. And I found more than I thought I had.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good.
Shall we stand and hold hands? As we come together in the physical, let us think of bringing down the spiritual understanding that we have received, and think of this circle of light getting brighter and brighter, and divine love circling around this circle, and gaining in momentum and power, filling this room, spreading out over this city, covering this planet, and going out to the whole universe. Let us send God's love ahead of us into this week, into our every thought, word, and deed, into every situation, into every encounter, and know that it is there to meet us as we step into the next moment. Thank you, Father. There's an article over here on the table about love and sending love that Ella was talking.
I'm Judy.
Here, read it.
Real good to meet you.
Talk about
Yes.
she gave me.
How are you guys? Haven't seen you in a while.
Well,
Hi, Melba. Nice to see you again.
I'm Judy. Welcome.
We're
Very
hugging.
good to have you.
How do you live here too?
Nice to see you again.
Good to see you. You've lost some weight.
I'm Judy. Glad you noticed.
Come here, girl. I haven't seen you.
Real good question.
Yes. Very interesting.
Good to see you.
Enlightening questions you never ask it from one.
Melba, I'm glad. I'm glad you made it so soon. I didn't get back by time. I didn't know.
I'm Jenny. I'm Dorothy. Hi, Dorothy. Welcome. Very nice to have you here.
This student has been with me for 30 years or more. And this is her daughter.
Returning home
Grew up.
then tonight.
I saw her grow up.
And I'm her sister.
Playing the band, you know?
It's nice to
Well,
How are you?
I still have some questions about the spiritual war that goes on.
Spiritual war.
Yeah.